Howdy y'all, this is AR Cavally. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to do another product review, although it's not so much a product as a app, as a free resource for role players. And today what we're going to be talking about is something called Wizard Dawn. Now I had heard of it occasionally back, at various points, but I never really used it until recently. I came across, I think I was looking for map generators or something like that online, and I came across a notification that said the, that the site hosting it was no longer going to be able to host it because their ISP was updating their PHP or their IP or something like that. They were doing an update, and so the web page as a web-based application wouldn't work anymore. So what they were looking for some solution, and apparently that solution was to make it something you could download and use on your computer as like a local host, as like a local app on your computer. And the guys over at Osric, the AD&D retro clone guys, decided they offered to host it, and that's the page that you can find it on. And today I'm just gonna go ahead and go through because I've poked around with it a lot, and it has a lot of really cool stuff on it. So I thought I'd just make a quick video. So let's head on over and take a look. This is what it looks like. It opens up and I'm not really I'm not really what you'd call any kind of guru, but it opens up in like a local server app, and it uses your browser, and it opens it up, and it has all these things on it that you can use. But let's go over first, and this is the Osric page, osricrpg.com. This is where it's hosted, and of course, I don't have Osric, so I don't I don't know much about it except it's like a first edition AD&D type retro clone or something. But if you go to your osricrpg.com and hit tools, now of course it has a different tools for its Osric and ODD and everything like that. But down here you'll find a link to Wizard Dawn. This gives you a brief history of it and how to set it up. All right. I'm not going to go, I just read the instructions. You can read the instructions. If I can do it, you can do it. But this is where you find it. Here's the download links and some information on that. So, kudos to the Osric folks for hosting it when it needed to be hosted. Now, once as we saw over there, it opens up that little window and you can get it to set up. Now, once you get it set up, like I said, it just opens up in a tab on your browser. I'm using Firefox for this particular one, which that's normally what I use, I guess. Now it has all of these generators on here, and you can specify a particular game, and it has generators for games that weren't that aren't theirs. But over here, you also see that Wizard Dawn had their own games that they created. And so you can choose a specific game that's not a Wizard Dawn game. You can select Wizard Dawn games, and you can just do a genre. You can select, basically it's the same stuff up here at the bar across the top. Right. Now, for myself, I don't really play any of these games. I have played them. I ran a pretty good Gamma World campaign back in the 90s when I was in the Navy. That was pretty fun. And I have some of these games, of course. But that said, these are the kind of things that you will find on this app. Pick a genre. And over here, it gives you all of the different generators that it uses. Okay, say fantasy settlement. You can give it a name. We'll say Fantasyville. You can check whether it's a city, a keep, or a village. Let's go ahead and keep it a city. You can make it how big. And you can select all sorts of different things on this map. Tell how many buildings. It tells what you can build in there. Right? You can select the different races that'll come across there. All that stuff. So a lot of options in this particular one. And hit create, and it opens up a new one. All right, so this generated the city, and it uses a series of geomorphs basically for a lot of these generators. So you have sometimes the same buildings over and over, maybe or tiles over and over that have some of the same buildings on it, but you don't really see too much bad repetition as such when you're using these geomorphs. At least I haven't. I'm sure if you make a big enough map, you're going to run into that. But and each one of these is numbered, which is one of the options. You can have it number the sides or not. And then at the bottom of that, all of these things, every one of those things are set up. Here's the it sets up prominent figures, merchants, price lists for the shops and everything. So I mean these are some pretty in-depth generators. I mean look at all this stuff, and then down at the very bottom, maybe it was at the bottom. Somewhere on here you can I think download the whole thing. Yeah, okay. Save map as an image. All right, so that's one thing that you can do, and again, depending on which ones you select, like say here's one for fantasy names. Let's go ahead and create. Oh, I guess I didn't select anybody. Let's go ahead and we'll create some Sumerian, some Hyperborean names, Hyborian names. All right. So anyway, just to show all the sorts of different generators this thing has. So it's really an awesome resource. Now for me, what I was looking for was some post-apocalyptic stuff. All right, so here we've told it how big we want it, and it generates this kind of blown up neighborhood. All right, it uses a different set of geomorphs, adds some catastrophic craters and collapsed buildings and things like that. And here we can tell it to number areas. And now it's done that same thing as it did before. It numbered the areas. Now this particular one, it didn't generate them, so you would need to generate that yourself. But you can come up with scavenging lists. Oh, again, I didn't put anything in. So random, and you can find corpses You can tell it to even give you the condition of items that are found. All right, so you searched a military base. It came up with a random building, and this is what you found: a silencer for a rifle in good condition, and these are the corpses that you found there. Now, I think it sort of defaults. Yeah, it defaults to kind of a Gonzo mutant type of thing. But if you were doing a more straightforward, no mutants, no aliens kind of setting, you could just say it's a body of a female person. This one has crayons that are totally ruined and totally ruined winter boots. And each time you generate these things, it pops up in a new tab. Busted down place. All right. So the map style, it's like I said, some of these do overlap, and I'm not going to go through everything because really some of the fun of this thing is just to hop from the tools to everything and see what you got. But here you can make an Exodus spaceship, sci-fi, post-apocalyptic fantasy. So we're kind of talking, like Thundar the Barbarian. We'll do a post-apocalyptic, and each hex equals so many miles. You can change how big it is. You can tell how much information. You can use a color map. You can highlight certain landmarks. You can tell whether there's borders or not. And let's see what we get. All right, so in this case, it gives us like a hex map, which is cool. And there's a handful of different hex map generators on here. I didn't select color, but if you select color, it changes the hex map colors and everything. It gives us a legend of everything that's there. In this one, there's a crashed spaceship, a domed city. And you can save that out, or save it and print it out. See some survival horror. And again, I think there's a zombie generator. I actually had not clicked on that on that one before. Um, so that's cool. It describes, she's missing her left foot, darkened skin, blotchy, barely covered in bloody shiny orange rags. So you make suburb maps for the zombie horde thing. Again, it's using the geomorphs, but gives a pretty quick, easy to go to, and an easy to print out map. All right, now if we come over here, we'll just take a look at something. Let's see, let's say Labyrinth Lord. All right, so these are the generators that are all for Labyrinth Lord. All right, we'll do third level, and I think Labyrinth Lord is another. I think Retroclone. I don't have it. I have a couple OSR games. I don't have that one. Let's just see what it does for us here. All right, so you tell it what it is, and it just prints out, the information. You can, and it's cool. Everything is pretty in depth. Everything's on a drop down. Let's see, a fantasy settlement. So this is probably going to be the same thing. And of course, each one of those, it gives the information or instructions down at the bottom. So He gives us stuff. It seems to me this is probably should be making a map of some kind, but anyway, I haven't used that particular one. But just because the games that they made, Broken Earth, Millenniums and Mutations, Ruins and Riches, Star Wars Galactic Adventures. I don't think they made that one. Okay. So it's a fan created. So maybe they did, but like Broken Earth though is for their games, you can actually download rule books and character sheets. And here's the world map for Broken Earth, which is pretty much a turned upside down North America. But hey, the flipping of the poles is probably the least thing to worry about as you're wandering through the America forest or the Michigan jungle and the Detroit ruins, Orland Mountains, right? Uh, so, and the games themselves are, they're pretty decent. They're standard, kind of role playing games. You have your stats, your roll, um, have ability bonuses and whatnot. But since they were kind enough to make this really cool generator, I thought I'd just show them a little love there, a little appreciation. Anyway, that's Wizard Dawn. The it's a ton of generators for RPGs. I've made some very big world maps that are hex maps, and it's really cool. You can, in fact, I think in one of my solo playthroughs, I think I used one of these, and it's probably what I was looking for when I was looking for like just a hex map generator in one of my I think other worlds in the solo playthrough. Um, so anyway, that's Wizard Dawn, and just somewhere I don't know where it says it. It says it somewhere, but the anything that's generated using this is for personal use only, just in case anyone wanted to make a bunch of random maps and try to sell them or something, which I think probably has happened before. But anyway, that is Wizard Dawn. It's pretty cool. It's free, and it's easy to install. Like I said, if I'm able to do it, you can do it. It just pops up and generates, and gives you the little box, and you turn it on just like it says on the instructions on the Osric page. I'll go ahead and leave the link down in the description, and I hope you enjoy it. It's really it's like exploring a dungeon in and of itself. There's so many links and generators. It doesn't it doesn't have rules. I don't think, at least for other companies' games. You still have to have the games, but it has a lot of generators that use those rules, and I hope that was useful to you. I know I've found it very interesting. But anyway, happy gaming.